Hello and what's up, everyone? Welcome to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. I am your host, LeRon Dawkins, and as always, we've got my friends, my pals. Starting off, Stephanie Klimov, what's up?
Good evening, friends. How are you guys?
So proper.
All
For the most proper show, obviously.
Right.
All right. So, Corey Derrick, what you got for us?
Hello. That's all I
He
got.
just attacks us.
Hello!
He's like the drunk hobo in behind the park.
Yeah. It just pops out of a corner. Hello!
Oh, hello.
Yep.
How's it
Hello.
going?
Would
How's
you
it
like
going?
some candy?
Do you have Snickers?
No.
Is there Wi-Fi in your van?
No. There's nothing good in my van. Some sadness.
Well then, like get on, you bum. Well, it's always another wonderful Wednesday night. Like we're wrapping up Hump Day as we talk about it right now. How's the week been so far?
It's been full, I'll say. A full week. A full weekend. There's no time. There's no time.
Yeah, it was Memorial Weekend. Did you do anything?
Not really. We went over to my sister-in-law's house and we put stuff on the grill, but nothing like too exciting. So
I hurt myself Memorial Day weekend.
what'd you do,
What'd
LeRon?
you do?
So Sunday morning, like I planned we have this nature park called the Nolan Trail. If you walk it or run the full circuit, it's 5 miles. And so I told my boyfriend that hey, I think Sunday morning I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna hit the Nolan. And I also know that he likes hidden trails and hiking and all that stuff. So it was basically an overture for me to say, hey, I'm gonna do this. Do you want to come with me and stuff like that? Because I knew he was probably gonna say yes, and he said yes. So we get out there, and I don't know if it was just karma coming to bite me in the ass or whatnot. We got out there, right? And as soon as we park and everything, like he finds the first park bench he can find, and he starts doing stretches and warming up and all this stuff. And I was like, is it that serious? And he was like, no, I just want to make sure it gets done. So we start doing the trail. And I'm doing fine till about the beginning of mile 3. Mile 3, I start feeling this weird. It's almost like a painful sensation right on the outside of my knee.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay. I was like, this is kind of funky. We just keep going and stuff. Every so often I just take a real quick rest break. To shake my leg, shake it out and everything. At the end of the 4th mile, and we were trying to do the whole 5 miles. At the end of the 4th mile, I was in excruciating pain and could not properly walk anymore. I was limping. So I was like, babe, we got to stop it. The car, the good news was the car was right, maybe another 20 paces away from us. I was like, look, I can see the car. We need to stop now. It's
Oh.
yeah. So we went, we got something to eat. My leg was getting worse. So I got home, and for the rest of Sunday, I basically sat there and did the old icy hot therapy for what I thought was my knee. Well, actually I did have pain in my knee, and my knee did get stiff. But ultimately, and of course my personal trainer got on my ass because of course I told him Monday, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to work out because I went and walked the trail, and I even took a screenshot of the actual route, so he had proof that I did it because and he was like, yeah, your ass wasn't stretching, were you?
I was gonna say,
Yeah. So Monday for Labor Day, I was bedridden. I couldn't really move, I live in a split level house. So yeah, getting up and down stairs was interesting. Thank God I'm also in one of the master suites in the house. So at least I had a bathroom within walking distance of my bed, or that would have been rough. but yeah, so my leg, I did enough though, like because I did start stretching, and like doing the ice therapy and all that stuff. By Tuesday, like I was no longer in real pain unless I did something just to like, jar my leg. There was no real no pain. Um, Leg was still stiff as fuck, like at the knee. Today I'm actually pretty better, and of course my mom starts screaming at me like, "Go see the doctor!" And I'm like, "I already know what's wrong with me, mom. I don't need to go to this." She was afraid that like I tore like the MCL or something like that, and I was like, I can understand that fear if I'd actually like slipped and fell while I was on the trail, but that's the thing about it. I was just walking. I still don't understand how I legit got hurt, that bad. Walking. I didn't run. At no point did I like hit, break a stride or whatnot. I didn't lose footing and nothing like that. But yeah, somehow my ass came back hurt from walking.
That's the part that really sucks getting older, is just like, no matter how much we deny, we need to stretch. I do that a lot. I go without stretch. I don't need a stretch, and guess what happens?
It's bullshit though, because I mean like walking is the most basic thing a human being can do, and I got hurt doing it, and I still don't understand. Yeah, like all the professionals are saying, yeah, you didn't stretch, and I'm like, that should be no excuse. I walk all the fucking time. I'm so mad. Oh boy. Yeah, so that's how my weekend went. I couldn't even enjoy myself this weekend, and I'm trying to actually be better, as we get closer to my birthday.
It
I
is
honestly
close to your
think
birthday, isn't it?
Yeah, I honestly think by Friday I'll be good. I'll be back to walking like a normal person, because I even joked and I was like, I'm just gonna go buy a cane. Fuck it.
I had that same thought this weekend with my knee.
Goodness.
My knee is still hurting. I have a sleeve on my knee and it feels better,
Mhm.
but I think it's just because it's constricted and supported, not because it's actually healing itself.
See, that's the other thing too. I think I almost sound embarrassed saying this because I already know there's like an inappropriate joke somewhere. I think it's time for me to buy some knee braces.
Yeah. We all know the inappropriate joke that goes there.
Yeah, it's
Better buy
it's
some
crazy.
toothpaste with those knee braces.
Oh wow. Like I just don't like being hurt. Like it pisses me off.
Of course, yeah. I mean, how do you think I felt when I had that stupid fluid sac issue with my elbow?
Which is weird. Why didn't you just go get it seen and they could have drained it, or were you not trying to have them stick a needle in there to drain it?
I mean, I don't know if that would have legitimate been an option, and I have a health insurance where everything goes toward deductible until I spend my entire deductible. I'm like, pay $1,000 or whatever, a couple $100 to do this, or wait out a couple weeks and it'll go down on its own for free. So thanks, insurance.
Insurance.
Which that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I can't really fault you for that. Like today,
Unfortunately.
I was in the business meeting, and we're in with like a network of like different business professionals and stuff like that. And I tell you, like getting like the 1 2 3 combo from like the insurance people, the banking people, and the life and the health and wellness people. Oh my god! I literally got up at the end of it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be an adult anymore. Like this is too scary. And I've been adulting. I've been adulting for 20 plus years now. It's just now getting scary.
Just now.
Yeah, just now. No, like when I was walking into adulthood, I was like, yeah, bring it on. I can't wait. Like this, I'm gonna make it my bitch. And now it's like, man, like I'm the fucking bitch.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yep. Yep. Well, all I know is that I woke up last night. I thought somebody was literally using a drill into my knee. Cap, and it hurt so bad.
Oh gosh.
That's what my knee feels like. The top of my knee. That's what it feels
like.
Wait,
didn't you just have you gone to the doctor yet to get checked out, or you're going?
I went to the doctor. I'm supposed to get my knee x-rayed this week because they want to x-ray it to know if I should go to physical therapy to know if I need surgery on it. Which, look, I'm not getting surgery on it. It's not like I'm super athletic or anything anymore, right? But like,
but you used to play football.
I did
for college, right? For college, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not super athletic anymore because I don't do anything anymore. I did, however, buy Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh,
still in the box.
I need to get my own Ring Fit Adventure. Like I think I already said this. Like I'm pretty sure my boyfriend's getting tired of me stealing his.
I don't know. I just I don't know. I just don't want to go through all that crap, and physical therapy is, I don't know. The last time I went to physical therapy, they messed up because I had surgery on my finger, and they were doing physical therapy on my finger, but then they messed it up because they were doing the wrong exercises because they thought it was a different surgery on my finger, and now like my finger doesn't move correctly, and like I just, it's just always something.
Wait,
it's never just.
So is it a muscular thing or a bone thing?
It's a tendon thing.
Oh yeah. Too late. Yeah.
I would have to have. They would have to go in and surgically redo my pinky, and then start everything over.
The pinky's not that vital.
No. I mean, I can still move it and stuff. It just doesn't bend correctly.
Yeah, I have one of my thumbs doesn't bend like the other one does.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. I don't even know I don't even know it doesn't look deformed or anything, so I'm wondering like it got slammed in a door and just never healed properly when I was really small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does like I mean I can use it, but it doesn't bend like the actual the one. It's funny too because it's the one on my dominant hand it doesn't bend all the way like the one on my left.
Yeah. So, but everything else from that doctor visit actually came back pretty positive, at least. So.
Wait, positive or negative?
Well, I mean, like, good. I meant...
Okay.
So, I have...
You gotta remember, being positive
I know,
in the medical world is not what you want.
I know. So...
Generally, no.
Here's the things are... I have a vitamin D deficiency.
Everybody has a vitamin D deficiency.
I have low good cholesterol by, like, 4 or 5 points, I think. And there was something else. There were like 2 or 3 other things that were like low, but it was contributed to being dehydrated because I wasn't allowed to eat or drink for 12 hours before my blood test.
Wait. You couldn't stay hydrated with water at least?
They told me not to eat or drink anything for 12 hours.
No, you should drink water.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, during a fast, like water is your best friend.
Yeah, so they
messed you up. They were probably saying don't drink like sugary stuff and
they just said don't eat or drink anything for 12 hours. So I said okay.
At least it was 12 hours because I usually do it when they tell me to fast. I usually do 24.
Well,
Yikes.
So I didn't eat or drink anything after 8 o'clock the night before, and then I just slept and went straight there. So I don't know. It was fine. But yeah, everything else is fine. The low good cholesterol is consistent with heart disease, which it runs in my family, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
But also, they told me that when I had like an EKG, whatever, they said everything sounds fine, everything looks fine.
That's good.
So, I don't know. I'm still worried about the heart thing. Like, that's like the biggest scare for me right now is like, okay, well, my family has a huge history of this, so should probably,
I know it's easier said than done, but I know that cardio, and it doesn't have to be super intense, but cardio in general can naturally boost your HDL, which is good cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And that's, my doctor kind of made a plan for me, and I also have like a you know, whatever, integrating what I was already doing into this plan. And, you know, I have to lose weight. I mean, that's going to solve a lot of the issues right away, he said. So, which I knew, right? I mean, I knew. But anyways, enough about me.
Anything new and exciting, like that's not like medically related for you stuff?
Me?
Her sack's gone.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was like, wait, hold on, I have to check. My mom's birthday was on Monday, so I made her a cake, and I said on the Boss Rush podcast that we played Switch Sports, and she got super into it, like kind of frightening, but awesome. Other than that, kind of low key. My son is sick. Knock on wood, it's I tested him twice, and he came back COVID negative twice, so I think it's just a regular cold. I went on a date. I was gonna text you guys, but I don't know. I just forgot because I was gonna make a joke, like, because I was nervous. I said this guy's personality is as big as his biceps because like, not generally my type. And his pictures, like he has these like big ass biceps, and I guess he like was a football player his whole life, so it's like very jock looking, and he also seems to have a very exuberant extroverted personality. I'm like, Stephanie, you're going to die. You're an introvert. You're a nerd. I'm going to die. So I was kind of nervous.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
But that was the only point of me telling the story, was that his personality was as big as his biceps. But it went fine. He actually was. Looks are very deceiving. He was like a gentle giant. He was like very intelligent. Not to say that really fit people are intelligent. I'm sorry, that's not what I was implying, but I'm just saying, like, we seem to.
Nah, we're a bunch of fucking lunkheads.
So yeah, no, it went well. We'll see what happens, but that's kind of it.
Cool.
That's good. That's good.
That's fun.
Well, you know what? Before we get too settled into it, hey, like, do we have some patrons to thank for their support?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that whole Patreon thing. You can support the Boss Rush Network on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. For just $1, you get this here show, Boss Rush After Dark and Standard Definition 2 weeks early, as well as the Boss Rush podcast and Nintendo Power Block Expansion Pass 1 week early. But if you subscribe at the $5 tier, you become a Patreon producer. What does that mean? Well, we're going to shout your name out on the show as our Patreon producers. So, without further ado, here are our Patreon producers for this episode. Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, and my wife, Sana Dierig. I want to thank our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons, and I want to thank all of our free listeners. Remember, all of our content is free. We just like to give you something a little extra for supporting us.
That's right.
All right, so I don't know, like, I feel like we should do something a little different. What were you about to say?
I have a topic. It's a very kind of, I don't want to say it's uncomfortable, but it's definitely something that's going to have a very divisive discussion.
Let's do it.
So, before we go into this, I want to say that we support all of our LGBTQ plus communities here, right? We support everyone here.
Yep.
And I just want to say that I am proud of our diversity, and the people that work with us are all different. And it's very good that we have these different points of views and different types of people on here to, voice their opinions and have their voices heard. I just want to get that out of the way because this topic, it kind of revolves around this area. So there there's a big debate in the sports world right now about the trans swimmer Lia Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to kind of have this discussion, maybe, to see how you guys feel about it, because I think if there is anywhere in the world where this kind of discussion might be questioned, not should be questioned, because somebody being who they are should not be questioned. I'm just saying, like, athletic competition is it's an interesting area to have a discussion about, because it I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to say it. But what are your thoughts on this? Because this swimmer is dominating women's swimming, and it's become a big point of discussion.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're having a hard time saying, I'll just say it's a lot of it has to do with human physiology and biology. And I'll let you guys go first with your opinion, but just as a preface, because I might go last, because I might be the person that gets death threats later, but I approach things from a very scientific and physiological manner. And the way I see this, I mean, there's plenty of people that crap on this athlete just because they're transphobic. That's a different story.
No, that's a different topic entirely. That's wrong, right? Like,
but it's definitely a worthy discussion, because it's true. It's like, we want to have an inclusive environment. If someone identifies or transitions because of how they feel, there should be no reason to stop them. But when it comes to competitions, like, does that put other people unfair? So I'm just like setting it up like we're speaking purely from a physiological standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
because
I feel like you and I are about to go in the same direction.
Well, the thing is there was a study done on this athlete for their physical attributes compared to a person who was biologically born a woman, and the test results came back and said that Lia Thomas, what's her name, Lia Thomas has a distinct advantage, even though she's on testosterone blockers, because the testosterone is still, some of it is still getting through because it doesn't block it all.
Yeah. Right, and I could be wrong about her history, but she did not transition until after puberty, right? Like, I don't know if we know this, because I think part of it is, at what point did someone transition? Because once you as you grow, like, your foundation's kind of set. So say you're a 30-year-old cis male or just born male, and then you decide to transition. Like, I hate to say, like, even though you're blocking testosterone, a lot of your body kind of has already been set. You can't change bone structure. You can't.
Yeah.
Like I said, go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's a fascinating kind of topic, because it's like sports is the one place where maybe this discussion should happen, and I want everybody to be happy and true to themselves. But, like, do you create if you create a transgender kind of category of competition, then you're saying that transgender people are different from biologically born genders, right?
Yeah.
And you don't.
Hey, you know what? Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Finish.
I was just gonna say, and, like, you don't want to do that because you want everybody to feel like they can be themselves. But how? Like, this is just such a hard thing to. I don't know.
So one thing that just made me think of it, and forgive me if this sounds like a dumbass idea, I'm just going to skip to maybe think, like, what if we were to consider looking at, well, this will not likely ever happen because it would be a huge change, but maybe it could start in, like, something like the Olympics, like, not talking about, like, NFL or NBA or something like that right now. What if we, didn't divide things by gender anymore, but just by your physiological attributes?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean, that seems to be that was a pretty big discussion on a podcast. I forget which podcast I was listening to. It was a sports podcast. It might have been like either The Herd or one of these morning shows that I listen to sometimes at work, where they're because certain sports, they do go by weight. Like a lot of, I mean, I know it's still separated by gender, but like boxing or UFC or whatever, like they go by your physical attributes and your weight and stuff. And
Exactly. Yep.
and I think there are some sports where you could actually mix the genders, no problem. I think basketball would be an interesting one to start, if you mix the WNBA and the NBA. I don't know what would really happen in terms of that, but like I think that basketball is one you could point to. Baseball would be another one, right? And so I think that would be an interesting concept to have, women play on the same level as men in general, because there's a lot of great female basketball players out there that people don't know of because, I mean, not to sound like an asshole or something, but nobody really cares about the WNBA, really. It's not mainstream the way that the NBA is or the NFL is. It's they they had to consolidate teams because not enough people were watching or paying to go see the games.
Yeah.
Cleveland used to have a team, and they shut down that team because nobody was going to the games, and they were one of the best teams in the WNBA at the time.
Well, and you mentioned that. I think it could be a win-win from both sides then, because women want to be able to play in certain sports or arenas where they cannot.
Mm-hmm.
So like it kind of works. I don't know. I just feel like it's a discussion that would be worth having, because it's different, right? If we're going back to just the topic of trans, like going to the bathroom, like, that's a big thing, right? Like you don't need to have like certain physical attributes to be able to use a bathroom. If you are trans and you identify as female, there's no like prerequisites to use a bathroom. But sports, it's like your actual physical, your muscle mass, your bone mass, like that actually does make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's why. But I feel afraid to say that, because I'm not against. Like, I have nothing against Lia. I think she is awesome. Like, good for her. But I just feel like it's not really fair.
Yeah.
I hate to say
it. No. I'm totally in that same. I'm totally in that same category. Same boat with you. I mean, I really understand. I get it. Like, yeah, these people. I don't even mean to say it. Like, I said that, and that sounds very insensitive too. But like, we look. Trans people, we do respect, their autonomy and all that stuff, like their choice, where, because like I can't 100% understand it, but I can empathize with the fact that you wake up and you don't feel like you're the person in there's somebody else in your own skin and stuff like that. I can totally empathize with that. Like I've never experienced it, whatnot, and things like that. So like if people want to transition to like the gender they feel they're most comfortable with, yeah, I get it, but there are like a lot of mitigating circumstances, stuff like that, like for the, like just say for example, this is probably going to put a bad vision in everybody's head. Like say I want to transition, but become female, you have to look at certain things. Like, you look at me, you can tell this is a grown ass man, So what does that look like? Like when and let's say I was like ultra competitive in like the stuff that I wanted to do. Like say I was a track star, a swimmer, So I don't even want to play the hardcore stuff. Like, I don't want to play football. The stuff that's basically like designed to hurt people and stuff like that. There's things that you have to weigh in, like hey, like this person lived as a man for most. It's the Bruce Jenner effect, actually. Well, Kate, I'm sorry, I just used his dead name. I'm sorry, her dead name. Wow, I am messing up pronouns left and right tonight.
I mean, I think it's okay, because like there's still a lot that I think we would like to learn about trans people, right? As genetically born males or females, right? Like I think that there is a question here where we would like to be educated, and asking questions. Yes. I think there's this very bad distinction out there that if you're asking questions about this, that you are against it.
Well, not even that. Like, if you're asking questions, you're being insensitive.
Yeah.
You know, which some people, I hate to say it, some people don't understand that. You know, like, well, the thing about it is, like, it's one of those it's one of those ethical gray areas, because you know, like you know, like, it's one of those things, like, you know, like, don't ask me what it's like to be this. You need to figure it out yourself. And you know, vice versa. Some people are like, no, like, if you have a question, please come ask me, and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. And I like. How are you going to go about pronouns and stuff? I've gotten to the point where I've just gotten used to, unless I like know for sure somebody wants to be identified as a male or female, like, I have just kind of taught myself to say they, just in general.
Yeah, like, I remember,
because like I don't want to offend anybody, and I want to, like, unless you want to identify as this or that, like, I want to make sure that I'm not being offensive to somebody. But like, that doesn't mean I don't have questions, because I would like to be educated so I can be a better ally and a better supporter of you know, people who are going through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm of a certain age where, like, I'm of a certain age where there was a time when, like, you know, like, addressing somebody as they or them was the ultimate form of disrespect. Mm-hmm. So it's taken a long time for me to deprogram myself to, like, use those pronouns the way people would prefer them to be used now, you know. And now I've gotten to the point where it's really easy. Like, if I can't differentiate you, like, I'll just default to they them, you know. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those things that, you know, like, and either you're going to get upset at me and correct me, or you're going to be like, okay, yeah, cool, thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, like you, LeRon, I grew up where saying they was disrespectful, and saying yes ma'am, yes sir, no sir, like, that was respectful. And now, like, you've had to, like, transition out of that, you know, and I know it's for you because of the military. I'm sure that was particularly difficult to transition out of. Mm-hmm. So I want to be a better ally to people that are going through things like this, but I also want to learn about it, you know, and it's interesting, but also, like, I want to make sure that you are getting the support that you deserve.
Right.
But that doesn't come without questions. You know, I don't want to be insensitive, you know. So I just thought this was like this topic was trending all day on Twitter, because that's part of my job is running a social media stuff for the company I work for, and this was kind of a topic at work today. Like, oh, did you see that this trans swimmer is getting a bunch of hate? And I thought it would be an interesting thing for us to talk about. So.
Oh yeah, no. This is a very good topic, actually, because I mean, I don't think I ultimately answered the question. So let me ask the question first. Okay, I think I believe like this, even though it is very unfair, like, you know, like, there has to be something in place for, like, you know, trans people, especially people who transitioned at a certain point. And, you know, that's where it also gets a little murky, because you can't always tell, like, you know, a person that transitioned at the age of, I know some people who, like, get their children that are supportive enough to have their children gender reassigned, you know, as early as, like, 12 years old and stuff like that, you know. Like, you know,
Does that affect how you transition depending on what age you transition at?
Well, I believe once puberty sets in, like, there's going to be a problem. That's the way I feel. So, you know, like, and, you know, like, I haven't even done a lot of research in, like, what's appropriate to, like, to have someone transition, because in my personal opinion, if I ever have kids and, you know, my kid comes to me and says, Dad, like, I know I'm a boy, but I feel like I should be a girl. Mm-hmm. I will support him, and same thing for a daughter. I will support them the best I can, but the one thing I know for sure as a parent that I cannot do is I cannot be the person to get them gender reassigned. They're going to have to make that decision as on their own as an adult, and that's me saying that, because I don't know if I'd be able to live with myself if, like, like we go through all these steps and then they wake up one morning and say I made a horrible mistake, and they're still my child living with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my brain would break.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to the issue of like trans people, and I'm talking about fully transitioned people, like trans people who are playing in the sport of their personal gender identity and stuff like that. It is a hard thing to navigate because in all seriousness, like we have to look at it, were you like in the running for Heisman, in college when you were playing football, before you made the transition to become a woman, and let's be honest, like it's an unfair field if it's transitioning from male to female. It's not as daunting as transitioning from female to male because like usually I know women who are much tougher than I am. Stuff like that, so like, I always feel like the major problem is males that transition to female. I think that's really where it gets stuck at because not too many people care about like trans. Okay, it's called trans men, women who transition to become men, and it's called trans women for men who transition to become women. That's the actual like classification and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder for trans women, in this competitive age of like athletics and stuff than it is for trans men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my blanket answer is I don't know, but my true answer is like it is unfair and it definitely needs more debate. I don't envy the people who have to make the decision about how best to deal with these athletes because you know what being an athlete, it's a drive, it's a passion, it's a drive, it's a passion. It's also like a life skill for you, to a certain point. Because being an athlete, like you're not promised to be an athlete for the rest of your life. You'll carry the title of being an athlete, but there's no such thing as an athlete for the rest of your life because your body's going to give out on you eventually, and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to do that stuff, and stuff like that. So I get it, like I want to be the best like track and field star. I want to be the best football star. I want to be the best basketball, baseball star, the best swimmer. And all. I understand, and my heart goes out to you. But I'm not the person that's qualified to answer that question. But my personal belief is that like it is an unfair advantage, and like there needs to be more thought and research behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel bad for. I always feel bad when people are getting hate. Like different, same concept, different thing. Like on the Boss Horse podcast, we talked about Moses Ingram, who plays Reva on the Obi-Wan show, getting all these racist comments and stuff. And like, she's just doing her job. She's just doing what she wants to.
She's doing what Hollywood and Disney paid her to do.
Yeah, and she's amazing. Like she's amazing, and like I kind of feel like this is in a way a similar thing. I mean, they're not competing, they're acting right in the show, but like I don't know. I hate that people are getting hate because they're different or doing something or trying to be themselves, and it's just And you said it right. They're trying to be themselves. You said it just right with that one phrase right there. Yeah. I mean, to me, this is like in the 80s and 90s when every gay person was also a pedophile, right? Like this is kind of what this reminds me of in a way. Not that that's funny, but like it's
no. It's funny because like that's still a way of thinking, Like it's like it like what makes people immediately think that, is, what, I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound really harsh, but I think this is why it's like that. Like, I mean, look at the fact that look what's going on in the church right now. A lot of these incidents, are males perpetrating on on like young people, like we hear about a nun like I'd say once every 15 years we hear about a nun doing something wrong,
Well,
to a child.
it's like the senator against gay marriage who gets caught with his boyfriend, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh man, I used to love those days. That's the one thing I kind of wish that like maybe homosexuality shouldn't have been that readily accepted, because I used to live for those days. Like who was it? It was a congressman that got caught sucking somebody off in the bathroom in an airport.
yeah.
I can't remember his name. I feel like there's been so many of them now
Yeah.
that's very comical.
But I hope I hope someday there's a solution to this that is not segregating a trans person from being themselves.
Yeah.
I think Stephanie said it best in like almost in certain sports where like you can just be based off of your physical attributes and not necessarily what gender you are. I think that is a great in a lot of cases that's a great solution.
Right, because when it comes down to it, I mean, we're looking for equality amongst everybody, and I feel that, and something you said, Corey, people, not everybody, but some people, for whatever reason, seem to not, they're afraid to either ask, or they will get offended if asked, because a lot of problems is just ignorance. There's just not enough education. Like, even though I'm part of the LGBTQ community, I am not a trans. But I still don't know everything about the trans community. And I just feel like everyone needs to learn more about it. Because that's the only way we're going to make a decision. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone can benefit from a little bit more understanding.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on real quickly, because I don't want anyone that's listening to this right now, to think we trans LGBTQ, like the I, the A, all that stuff. We see you.
Yeah,
we see you,
and that's why I said that at before we started into this conversation, is because like I don't want people to think we're not supportive, because I think we are. I think we try to be in a way overly supportive of everyone, regardless of race or gender identity or sexuality or whatever. Like I think we're just a group of people who want to hang out and talk about the things that we love regardless of who we are, and I think that's what makes us great, and I like LeRon said, I hope this conversation doesn't push anyone away, because we see you and we support you and we want to be a supportive place and a supportive community for you, and it sucks that people have to question that as well,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just because like there's so much, like it's hard to like let down your defenses. Like you don't know who you can trust. I mean, like we still live in a day and age where people can easily be killed for how they identify themselves, and stuff like that. So yeah, I understand, and yeah, like also the one thing I would say, if you see something, scream something. If something doesn't look right, like make sure everybody knows about it, shit like that.
Yeah.
And like it's funny because last night on Crossroads we were talking about like the major violence and stuff that's going on in the country right now, and the one thing I said is people need to stop looking inward all the time. Like if you're not part of these like disparaged communities and stuff, like you don't need to look inward. You need to look outward, and you need to see like are you doing the best you can to protect these people, and stuff like that, And a lot of it does come from ignorance. Like people live in their own bubbles, they don't realize that, hey, like just because like I voted for Joe Schmo, like I made sure that guy looked after my interests, but you know what? A lot of people, their interests are already looked after, and they have to like look out for the other people, the people who can't defend themselves, like yeah.
And like I was God bless my mom, but she like I have said on the show before, she like asked me how my internet shows are going a lot of the times, and like I'm like,
It's
fine.
it's so funny.
And she'll whisper like, "Do you still do it with the black guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I do." And like, it's funny because somewhere within the last 3 years, not that this is like I'm patting myself on the back or anything for this. This isn't that, but I just something that is interesting, I guess, is that somewhere since this all started, like 3 of my best friends, none of them are, and this would have been where I came from, where I grew up, and where I lived. This would have been unthought of, but like 3 of my best friends in the world, none of them are white, none of them are straight. I mean, it's you two and Ed. I don't have very many quote unquote real world friends, right? Like, I mean, I have a few people that I keep in contact with, and I have my friends that I play Destiny with and stuff, but like, I would say like my best friends are you guys. And
Aww.
I know.
And
that
Ed,
made me happy.
And Ed, he's not here, but I've always felt like where I came from and how I grew up, that would have been unthought of when I was in middle school or high school.
I'm just gonna say this: you and I have to be some type of friends. If you allow me to text you at 2:00 in the morning and ask if you're up,
man, it just gets later and later every week, doesn't it?
It feels
it hasn't stopped since his boyfriend came back.
Pretty soon, it's gonna be like 6:00 in the morning. He's gonna be like, "Good morning." I'm gonna smell pancakes and bacon from the kitchen, and my wife's still gonna be in bed. I'm gonna be like, "What is happening?" LeRon stopped by, I guess.
Oh boy!
But I just the way that I've grown as a person since then is like, it's 2 totally different people, and I'm proud of the way that I've grown as a person, but I want to keep going, and part of it is, like we've mentioned, is just educating ourselves and myself to better support other people, because it's not always going to happen that way. So, best friends.
For real.
Yay. That reminds me of from The Hangover when Zach Galifianakis is just like, and we're the 3 best friends that we know. Oh, goodness.
Man, what a movie. That movie was so great, and then it was just destroyed by its sequels,
Yeah.
Yeah, The Hangover, like the original Hangover, is one of the few movies that I can rewatch at any time or date.
Mm-hmm.
A, never be sick of it, and B, it's like one of those movies that you can feel better after watching. It's just so
God, that movie's so good. It is so good. Oh, man, that movie is so good. Another movie that
He's getting too close to my shaft.
Oh my God.
The other movie that was ruined by its sequel was Anchorman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sequel was so bad, and I was looking forward to it. That was like one of the few times I actually went to the theater to see the movie, because Anchorman used to be one of my favorite movies of all time, and that sequel was so bad that I have not watched Anchorman since the sequel came out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I'm one of those people that is like, did this movie deserve a sequel? I was like, it's good, but does it need a sequel? I'm one of those people. And of course, like, every time I ask that question out loud, people look at me like I've lost my fucking mind or something. I was like, because for example, like Pitch Perfect, I love all 3 of those movies. I love all 3 of those. When I heard a sequel was coming, I was like, do we need a sequel? Like, my ass is in the movie theater, and thank God, like, Pitch Perfect 2 and Pitch Perfect 3 were both good movies. Because like, I would have probably driven myself off a cliff. Yeah, so I mean,
I'm in a glass case of emotion. Some of the most quotable moments there.
Oh,
Goodness.
man, so good. Man, Well, I'm glad we had that conversation. I just
Yeah. No, that's a good conversation to have.
And I don't
For
know,
sure.
maybe we'll reach out to one of our like a trans community member and like have them educate us on some things. You know, I mean, I don't want to be like offensive to them or anything, but I just want to, you know, see and maybe have like an educational episode because I think that would be interesting.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
So, anyways,
So thank you for bringing that topic up.
I actually brought a topic this week, guys. I'm proud of myself.
That's
It was a damn good one.
Because I didn't have a topic.
I actually have like a list of like 4 or 5 topics because of just recent events in the world, you know, that are just terrible. But also I didn't want to like, not to bring it up because we've already talked about it twice on shows this week, but like this, all the shootings happening.
Yeah.
Like the
we need to
4 in the last 2 weeks. Shit. That's
like one happening today, you know.
So.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of this shit. The only thing I'm gonna say is like, you know, like if you're listening and you care about it as much as we do, like check who you're voting for. You know, we got midterms that are happening right now, and then we've got the big one coming up in 2024 and stuff like that. Just check who you're voting for and stuff like that. And, you know, like just think about like what I said earlier. Like does the person you vote for, do they care about the person you care for next? Whether it's a child, whether it's a gay person, whether it's an immigrant, you know, does that person care about those people that you're voting for? Because if they don't, you know, and you for sure care about those people, there's a problem somewhere with how you're voting.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, something else that I'm terrified of. Like, I mean, besides like this school stuff. But like when the Ukrainian-Russian war happened, I haven't really talked to my wife about it because like I don't want her to like think that I'm like super worried or anything. But like she's a Ukrainian immigrant and they speak Russian, like fluent Russian, and they talk to each other in Russian. And
you know it's weird.
We come from an area that isn't very like.
You know, Americans piss me off sometimes because you know what? Yeah, like, you know, like we're not hearing about any Russian immigrant hate here in America, but when fucking COVID was happening, Asian people were being assaulted and fucked up left and right and stuff like that. I don't understand fucking American people sometimes. I don't
either.
I don't.
They pick and choose.
I'm not saying like, you know, like, yeah, like Russian immigrants should be getting their ass kicked in the street. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is I pay attention to what happens, you know, and stuff like that. You know, just like how, like, you know, like, oh, this black person got shot. He should have complied with the law enforcement. What the fucker was complying with law enforcement? What's your excuse then?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's just it's very, very obvious inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah. Well, we're fucked. Yeah, we're. You know, it's funny too because the most diehard patriot doesn't uphold every part of the Constitution.
Yeah.
They don't. You know.
Yeah, I was.
I don't want to get into that conversation though.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, where like people are like posting that they're proud to be an American this weekend because of Memorial Day and stuff. I'm like, hey.
And Top Gun.
Yeah, I'm like, A, not really what Memorial Day is about, guys. It's not.
Yeah, that's not what it's about.
But also, like, in terms of being an American, I'm like, I'm proud of what being an American should look like. Like, I like being that American, not what this country seems to be now. You know.
If you're proud to be, this is not to you guys. If you're proud to be an American, how come you're not doing more to help the veterans?
Yeah.
How come you're not? Like shit. Like you're proud of those guys and they're out there killing the people that you want them to kill, and the moment they come home, all like mentally messed up because of stuff they've seen and stuff like that. Oh, what do you think about those guys? You know, stuff like that. Oh, it's just another fucked up motherfucker that lives on the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Like I said, our American people in our current, I don't know if it's our current society. I feel like Americans have been fucked up since we first settled on the colonies. I really feel like that.
Mm-hmm. It's just.
But it's just exponentially worse. And I know it's a cliche quotable, but it made me think about it more frequently nowadays. Was, good old Kennedy's statement, it's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And if you really dissect that, I think that's kind of a big problem. Everyone's like, it's all about me and my own opinion. I'm like, no, if you want to be what the true American, proud to be American thing is, it should be, you need to, how do I say it? You need to put your actions into words. You need to be the role model. You need to be, oh, that's another quote, be the change that you want to see in the world. I know it's cheesy, but it's fucking true.
It's true. It's true. Like people don't realize that stuff.
Yeah, it's a lack of
because at the end of the day,
that's frightening.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they want to live in their own little small cindered ass world. They do. Like they forget that like once the Constitution was ratified and stuff, it was also nicknamed the Great Experiment. Like it's still going.
Anyways,
let's not do this to ourselves tonight. We had very deep conversations and stuff like that. Like we need to keep more of those conversations. In people's minds and stuff. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, we're still gonna be silly and dumb, but like, there's gonna be points where we have these conversations too. So
it's good, but one thing that I've been again thinking about more lately. Wow. And I know we just touched upon like the whole fact that shootings are happening and it's just become so commonplace. It's almost like, oh, we don't really need to talk about this every single time. But the part I want to talk about is, like most people, I'm having a hard time now. I don't know how to deal with it anymore. There are certain instances where I take it like very emotionally. Other times I hate to say it, but I make myself numb to it because I can't handle it. And now it's like, goodness, it's happening so much. I don't even know how to fucking process any of this anymore. And I don't know. I was telling my therapist that I'm like, I literally don't know what to do with my thoughts and feelings now.
Oh my God. Grid is selling. Grid, the company that makes those framed like breakdowns of consoles and phones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a PS Vita one now. Oh my God.
There's a Game Boy one
apparently,
that I really wanted, but
yeah, there's a Game Boy one. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the Game Boy one is the original Game Boy one is $270, and the Game Boy Color is $199.
Yeah, there was a Game Boy Pocket one also that was really cool.
Oh yeah, Game Boy Pocket, $190. I think I'm gonna be extra nice with my boyfriend. I kind of want that Vita one, but that's $310. He's not gonna.
Speaking of things that come apart, I was planning. So we're going to Disney in November, and like I was trying to hopefully plan on building my own lightsaber to display in my office. And I wanted a yellow one. They don't have yellow kyber crystals. You have to go somewhere and purchase them and then go to your appointment. Like,
what?
The only kyber crystals they have in the lightsaber building place are blue, green, purple, and red. But if you want white or yellow, you have to go to a separate store and buy them and take them with you.
Why doesn't Disney? I don't understand. Is it because they weren't technically canon until they were?
Well, I don't. Well, so the information I looked up is like a year and a half old, so I don't know if they have yellow in for sure now, but like Rey's lightsaber is yellow. Spoilers for Rise of Skywalker for those who haven't seen it. And Ahsoka's are white. So like, and those are kind of some of the biggest players in Star Wars right now. So like,
well, Ahsoka's second lightsaber.
Yeah, well, white. Her first ones were green, but I mean, the ones that she uses now are
white. Yeah, that's because they're purified. They're purified. It's a purified Sith lightsaber.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I wanted to build a yellow one, and yellow's not available, and I'm very bummed.
Oh.
Not that my
I
wife would let me.
I don't want to go to
spend that much
Disney
money
because
on
I will definitely come out with a lightsaber.
No, see,
I-
LeRon, we would have fun together. We would just go and spend the whole time in Star Wars land, build
Yeah.
lightsabers and droids, and get drunk on blue milk. And
Yes, see, that's the problem. And God, like you have to finance like to go to Disney now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not entirely true. You just have to know the little tricks and stuff.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
All right, you ready to wrap up?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just realized I have something to do before it gets too late.
I mean, we've been going for an hour. It's fine.
Yeah. Yep. Well, okay. So yeah, there we go. There we have it. Like, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Before we head out, though, as always, we're gonna do the thing, and that's definitely let you know how to get in contact with us and stay in touch with us. So, Stephanie, you go first.
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Klimov, KLIMOV_author. Our articles on bossrush.net, Wednesday nights on Boss Rush Podcast, and the Disney arm of Standard Definition.
All right, Corey.
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Boss Rush Podcast, on Standard Definition, on Nintendo Power Block and Expansion Pass, and various other things here on the Boss Rush Network.
All right. And as always, you can find me basically everywhere. Just look me up. EXODUS803, Exodus 803. All right. We want to thank you all for tuning in with us tonight. We appreciate you. Happy Pride Month. And be safe out there. The world is a crazy place, but it's always the best place to have fun at. So just take care of yourselves. Come back and join us for our next installment of Boss Rush After Dark, where we will be back with more topics and content that aren't really considered content appropriate for our anchor shows. We love you guys. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.